Hello, humans of Earth. It's Chris Angel coming at you for another episode of Marketing for the Rest of Us. And tonight we're talking about why do I like a daily video? Why do I like a daily episode or a daily show in my podcast? Well, I'm going to give it to you straight right here, right now. So for me, this is just me. I'm sure it's not just me, but for me, I noticed that on a daily basis, I can squirrel. I can get off track and in the weeds on all kinds of ideas. I can get out of my heart and into my head. There are a lot of things that happen on a daily basis as a person in business trying to grow a business. And so most shows, most podcasts, most shows are weekly shows. And as a listener of weekly shows, I find a couple people that I like and I love listening to their show, but I only get it once a week. And so have you ever had it where there are certain people that you really connect with, and in connecting with them, you, how do I say this? Like, you're just better when you're listening to them. You're just, they take you to that soulful place faster than other people take you there. And so I wish that I could be spending more time with them more often. Rather than their weekly show, which isn't enough, I wish there was something that they would release on a daily basis because it would bring me back to center faster, right? If they had a daily show, it would bring me back to center faster. And so in that spirit, when I created this show, I decided I wanted to do a daily show. For those of you who resonate with this conversation about marketing, the conversation about marketing where you get to be authentic, right? You get to be in alignment with yourself. You don't have to sell out. You don't have to get into all the technology of it all. You can do marketing from a soulful place. So for those of you that resonated with this kind of a message, I wanted this to be a daily show for you so that you could come back to center, that you could get back into a soulful place with your business and your marketing. And this show would have some small part in encouraging and inspiring your path today. Like today. And then tomorrow, knowing that it'd be easy for you to get off track, you could come back to something, a soulful conversation about your marketing, your business, tomorrow. And then the next day. And so I liked the idea of a daily show so that I could accompany you on your path to creating the business that you've been wanting to create. Without the consistency of getting into a soulful place, what happens is you could, and I've done this, you could get off track for months, if not years. So I think it's important that when we take on a business, we keep ourselves soulfully centered for the things that really matter, and that we work from a place that is congruent with who we are. It's weird though, because the minute you put your marketing hat on or your business hat on, all of a sudden, like, I can get super logical, super strategic, and I forget who I am. I forget what I'm really up to here. So the first reason, I had two reasons why I like daily shows. The first reason is for you, right? I like a daily show because it gives you something to come back to center on today, tomorrow, the next day. So I like a daily show for you, my listener, my fan, my friend who wants to stay connected to your purpose in marketing and business. Now, I like it for a second reason, and that's for me. I like doing a daily show because it requires me to continue to look into my life for what life is teaching me. Sometimes in business and marketing, we get so removed from the lessons life teaches us that when it comes time to market, again, we are all in our head about it. So there is something powerful that when you get comfortable with and used to thinking or feeling into what life taught you today, it actually creates a rhythm in your life of appreciation, gratitude, of wisdom, of perspective. I call it in my programs, I call it a spiritual practice. Marketing is a spiritual practice. Marketing is a spiritual practice, like meditation or prayer. It requires you look into your life for what life is teaching you. Now, if you're just going to do the kind of marketing where you do a script or you do it once a year or you whatever, that's not what this is. marketing as a spiritual practice is about you understanding that in marketing, we speak from our truth. We don't speak from don't speak from what you've learned, speak from what you've lived. Don't speak from what you've learned, speak from what you've lived. And so from that place, you have to continually mine your life for the truth that life has given you. And it's cool because it keeps me, as much as I'm creating the show on a daily basis for you to get centered, there's something about me creating the show for me, for you, that keeps me centered. Some of it keeps me humble because I have to go back and be like, look, what did I learn? What am I learning? And then if you share it vulnerably, transparently, again, that keeps you humble. It keeps you in touch with your people. So anyway, those are the two reasons I like it. One, I like it because your audience, if you're thinking about a daily show, one, your audience gets to stay connected to you and the encouragement you provide on a daily basis. And two, it serves you in your own spiritual practice of finding the lessons that life is teaching you. Now, I'll leave you with this. There is something about the rhythm of it all. There is something about, I've had graduates in my program say that once a week, all of a sudden, because I have them do a daily post in the program. And then after the program, I let them decide if it's going to be as little as once a week or daily. I've had people come through and then do a weekly show and feel like it's not enough. Like they lose rhythm. They lose, they have to ramp themselves back up to try to think of what to say. So there is something to be said for just that daily rhythm of like, I just share truth every day because that's what I do. So as you guys are all thinking about that, here, let me actually, I'll field this question from Drew too, because this is applicable here. Drew asked a question, do you ever catch yourself thinking too much? He said, I walked outside, neighbor's dog barking, neighbor's dog barking their ass off at me. So I start, hang on. Okay, hang on. Drew's got a good question here. It's a longer one though. Then I imagine the neighbor coming out and calling the cops on me barking. Then I imagine the cops showing up and telling me to stop barking. Then I tell the cops that I have some of the same nights. So, okay. Thank you for all that backstory, Drew. That's fantastic. So the question, Drew, is basically, do you ever catch yourself thinking too much? Yeah, all the time. Before this video, in fact. That is part of the spiritual practice, yes? Like if you actually go to meditation as a spiritual practice, you think about how it's calming the monkey mind, right? Like in meditation, we're focusing on breath. We're trying to get in the present moment. Well, in marketing, tonight, before this video, I'm like, I have a million ideas racing through my head. I'm like, there are so many things I could say to you. What do I want to say to you right now? And this is only one of the things I could have said to you. But as I got down into what I was present to and what felt important to me, this topic of why I wanted a daily show and why, because I've never told this to you, I don't think I've ever said to you that I created this show so that I could be with you on a daily basis as you try to stay centered and soulfully centered in your business every day. That's why I created it on a daily basis. I wanted to support you. It wasn't because I wanted to like do something in search engines. It's because for those of you that are actually interested in this conversation about staying soulfully centered in your marketing, I wanted to accompany you every day. But in order to do that, I had to sink down today into like, well, what do I want to say? And that's part of the spiritual practice as you go through marketing is you're like, okay, there's a lot of stuff coming at me right now. How do I calm my mind down and get present to something? Have you ever noticed like when people say a message and they're present to it and there's conviction in it, that it actually comes off better? And then there's everybody else who does marketing who aren't present to jack, right? They're not present at all. And they're just saying something to check a box. So many people are just marketing because they still think it's the information age. It's not the information age anymore. It's the tribal economy. People want to consume your content because they want to connect with you, not because they need information. People don't need information anymore. There's all kinds of information. The reason I come back to the podcasts and the shows that I love to consume is because I have a relationship with the host of the show. I don't even know what they're saying today. I'm just glad they showed up, so I listen. And it doesn't matter what they say. They say whatever they say, and I always get something out of it. That's the power of you getting present to what life taught you today and then sharing that. So yeah, thanks for the question, Drew, and good luck with the dog barking situation. All right, gang, so that's it for tonight. Here's how you can take this into action. Think about, one, the kind of rhythm you want in your life for staying soulfully centered. And then consider that your marketing is an access point to that. That you creating content on a daily basis is your access to staying soulfully centered in your marketing. Then consider how often do you want to support your people? Do you see the difference in that question? If I said, how often do you want to market yourself? That would be a different answer, I think, than if I said, how often do you want to support your people? If you want to support your people on a daily basis, which makes a ton of sense to me, then why would you not create a daily show? So there you have it, gang. I'll let you make that decision. If you would like more help on how to create a daily show or any kind of show, I have a 6-week program dedicated to that very thing. In that 6-week program, I actually give you frameworks that help you quickly and concisely come up with content to say on a daily basis. And the way you graduate that program is by actually launching your own show in the world, right? Like a podcast, like a show. I show you where to repurpose it, how to market it, all the stuff. But the way to get started, if you're interested in that program, is to go to groundswellmethod.com. Groundswellmethod.com. There's a free video on that page. And then the last page of the video is an application. If you're interested in the next program, which at the time of this recording starts March 2nd, then you can fill out that application. Thanks for hanging out with me here tonight. Here's to you deciding on a rhythm in your life and supporting your pieces. See you tomorrow.